Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stefan, and in this video I want to show you how to play Kabalevsky's Opus 39 number 21. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. Also, I offer online piano lessons if you're looking for one. There's going to be information below. Just a couple of words about the book. This is Kabalevsky's Opus 39, which is character pieces for beginners to improve artistic expression and technique. They're kind of pre-grade 1 to grade 1-2, so very early beginner, but they're really good pieces to kind of work through technical challenges in an interesting format, not boring exercises. Number 21 is kind of an odd one. It doesn't have a particularly memorable tune, and it kind of goes atonal here and there, and also it follows or introduces some Baroque concepts of counterpoint and imitation as well. So it's quite interesting, and it requires a lot of concentration to get through the entire piece because, as I said, the melody is not very predictable, so you have to really read the music. The biggest challenge in the piece is phrasing, so keeping the legatos connected and lifting up the hand when you have shorter slurs. Also, there's a big difference in the balance between the two hands. In the first section, the left hand is loud and dominant and the right hand is kind of in the background. And in the second section, the right hand takes over with the left hand being gentler in the background. I've got multiple editions of this book, and some of them suggest an adagio tempo, other ones andante, and I've even seen andantino, so it kind of goes from slow to medium speed. It's definitely not fast, but how medium or slow you go is completely up to you. As long as you can keep it very even, that should be a good speed. So let's work through this first section. We have a very long phrase in the left hand, starting in bar 1. We have 3 beats in a bar, and we're going to start 5 on the D. Now this phrase is going up in 3-note patterns, then 1 note back and going up again. So watch out for the B flat all the way through, and let's do very heavy key attack in these left hand notes to make sure it's a very deep legato and cantabile, which means singing style. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, lift, 1, 2, lift, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, lift, 1, 2, lift, G sharp, G, G sharp, and A. So that's the end of the second line in my score when we get to this sustained A in the bass. So what you can do when you have a slow melody is to lift the fingers high, and then you can get a very nice controlled rich key attack. We obviously can't do that when we play fast because we simply don't have the time to lift the fingers very high, but in a slow adagio piece you can do that, and it's an extra tool at your disposal to really phrase that melody in the left hand. So at the very short slurs, make sure you separate those 2-note or 3-note phrases and you lift up your hand between the slurs. The right hand is kind of offbeat, it's always coming on the and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and, because the 1, 2, 3 is the left hand and the right hand is the and. So again, it's already a rhythmic challenge here to coordinate the two hands. Now, as you can see, the right hand is in much shorter phrases. We've got 1-bar phrases. We need to lift up, there is a rest. And then in bar 4 and 5, we've got these quaver or 8th note motions. And there is a tie in the middle, which needs to be held. So let's go. 1 on the A. 1 and 2 and 3, lift. 1 and 2 and 3, lift. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and rest, rest, and up to the D, we have an accent mark, a tenuto, which is slight pressure, and then coming off, lift, and 2 and 3 and 1, and 2 and 3 and 1, and 2 and 3 and 1, and 2 and 3 and... So it's just going on in that pattern. So as you could see, the key thing here is to separate each of those phrases and make sure you lift up your hand at the rest. That's the difficulty of the right hand. And when you put the two together, make sure the left hand is much deeper and louder than the right hand. So instead of going like this, which could easily be the melody, but it's not, we have to emphasize the left. And as you can see, I'm holding the left hand connected while the right hand is lifting up between the phrases. When we have this tie in the middle of the bar, we go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So the tied note is going to be filled in by the left hand note. When we get to the end of bar 18, that's the end of the first section, and then the hands swap. So the right hand is going to take the deep, long phrase, and the left hand is taking the shorter phrases coming on the and, so the second half of the beat. So let's go right hand from the D. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, a very awkward thumb crossing from the E flat to the G, B flat, E flat, and finishing on the D. So a very long phrase in the end, quite stretchy. Left hand starting on the A, following the pattern of the beginning, 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1. And we have these very short scales going up and down. It's very beautiful. And rest. Right hand takes over, then left hand. And here, very interestingly, in the end, we have a quaver filling in the rest. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. So in the end, we're going to the treble clef, quieting down and slowing down for that final bar. Hands together, the second section. And 3 and 1 and 2 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 and 3 and... So as you can see, again, I'm lifting up my left hand at the rest, but the right hand is staying connected. So that's briefly a little guide into the piece. I don't want to go note by note because it would take forever, but hopefully this gave you a little bit of help in how to approach this piece and what is the main challenge and what to really pay attention to. The piece is kind of outlining a D minor scale, sometimes harmonic, sometimes melodic, but we can see a lot of melodies in it that don't really fit into the D minor scale. Dynamics-wise, it's mostly the same. We've got a diminuendo at the end of the first section, and then a crescendo before that diminuendo. And when we have those tenuto marks, that's our loudest part of the piece, and really slowing down and quieting down towards the end. Play it really slowly. Definitely do a lot of separate hands practice, like with all Baroque pieces, despite the fact that this is not Baroque, but it has a very similar kind of challenge in it, in coordination of rhythm and articulation. And when you practice it really slowly, add it together, make sure to count loud so you can really pay attention to those beats, especially the off beats when the right hand or the left hand is coming in as the secondary part. And do not play it fast. Really think about that legato. Lead the legato with the hand. The wrist is moving with the melody. And beautiful hand lifts, not quick ones, but nicely timed and naturally looking hand lifts is going to help with this quirky piece.